Are you looking to bounce back from your burnout as quickly as possible? In this video, we're going to share with you 4 steps to get re-inspired, re-motivated and back on track again. Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Yasmin.
And I'm Nadia.
If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button below and hit the bell to be notified every time we post a new video about transforming your life from stressed and unfulfilled to joyful and balanced. So we both went through so much burnout for many years when we were buying and renovating our houses, when we did our law degrees, when we built up our career, and we created this burnout hustle cycle for ourselves. But we managed to get out of it, and today we're going to share with you how we did that and how we stopped our burnout permanently. So the first tip is to take a break. So the first thing to do when you're burnt out is to accept that you're burnt out and accept that you need to stop and take a break. When you are burnt out, you are running on empty, which means any work you're doing in that state is probably not the best quality work that you can produce, and it's probably taking you longer to do it because you're being less productive and less efficient anyway. So you may as well just take the break and stop, and this will make you more productive in the long run once you give yourself the time to overcome your burnout. So the length of the break that you need depends on your level of burnout. If you're just entering a level of burnout or you're kind of getting there, then you'll get away with a shorter break. For us, when we used to get into burnout, on average it would take us about a week or so to get back to re-energized and re-inspired. But then sometimes if we'd been studying and working for months on end without much sleep and good food and taking care of ourselves, it would sometimes take 2 to 3 weeks or more. So it really does depend on your certain situation, and it can take much longer depending on the severity of your burnout. Generally, the more you have neglected yourself and your body, and the longer the neglect, the longer you will need to have a break for. But start off with what you can. If you truly at this time cannot delegate or say no to certain commitments, then just start off with a couple of days for now until you can take more time off. But don't procrastinate on this. Once you accept that you're burnt out, stop. Open your calendar and put in some downtime, put in your break, and if not now, as soon as possible. This means that you may need to get rid of low value or non-urgent tasks so that for now you can prioritize your well-being. So our second step is to prioritize yourself and your own needs. So this includes prioritizing both your body and your mind, because if you're going through burnout right now, your body and your mind are in desperate need for your care and your attention. The chances are your body has been in constant fight or flight mode because you're always on the go and always doing something. So to change this, you need to move from fight and flight mode to rest and digest mode so your body can start to heal and recover. The best way to do this is to start to slow down and practice relaxation and recharging activities regularly. So firstly, we suggest starting with the basics. So prioritize your sleep, your self-care, move your body, cut down on caffeine, slow down your breathing and take long, deep breaths, do meditation, relax, nurture yourself and your body. These things will improve your emotional, physical and psychological well-being, calm your body and relax your muscles, which have most likely constantly been tense and contracted. Now this seems very basic and simple, but the problem is many of us won't or don't want to do it because we're so programmed and used to going non-stop and getting things done that when we start to slow down, our inner critic steps in and tells us that, or criticizes us, that we should be doing more and that we shouldn't be slowing down. This is why it's so important that you have self-compassion along this journey of recovery and you silence your inner critic as much as you can. So to help with this, remind yourself why you need to slow down and do these relaxation exercises and why it's important you to recover from your burnout every time your inner critic shows up. When the negative inner critical thoughts come up when you're starting to relax or doing your meditation, telling you to get back at work or get back to doing something, imagine physically stepping away from that thought and observing it. Just notice them and maybe state what is happening. For example, say I am having a thought that is telling me I should be getting back to work. Saying the thought out helps you create that distance and disidentify from the thought so it doesn't allow it to take control over you. And while you're doing that, remind yourself you're a human being, not a human doing. You're not meant to be kept running all the time like a machine, so allow yourself that time to rest and recover. So our third tip is to bring joy back into your life. So the chances are, if you're burnt out, stressed and exhausted, you likely haven't made any time for joy recently. You may have even forgotten what it feels like to have joy and laughter in your life because you haven't prioritized it. And you may have even considered it a waste of time because you've got so much to do. Bringing joy and laughter back into your life can be really difficult when you're burnt out. However, it can help you massively and move you from that fight and flight mode to the rest and digest mode, which is going to help you recover more quickly. So make time for that hobby or that joyful activity that puts you completely in the present and in the moment, and then do it. Don't let your mind convince you that it's not going to work, because it will. And make sure you schedule it in and actually write it down in your calendar, because the chances are it's not a habit for you at the moment, so it's going to be harder than you think to implement. Now, sometimes staying committed to this step requires a slight perspective shift and needs us to take a less serious approach to life and situations. Many of us who experience burnout or take life very seriously were taught at a young age that life is serious business and that there isn't any time for joy and fun and laughter, because that doesn't make a very mature adult. We may have been told when we were younger to stop laughing and grow up, or our difficult childhood experiences may have turned us into young little adults very quickly and forced us to mature quickly. So guilty. So we take life in a very serious way. So if this is something you've experienced, or you've experienced something similar, ask yourself whether it's time to start letting go of some of those beliefs that you've inherited about joy and fun and laughter, and start looking at them or treating them as an essential part of your life. Start incorporating more fun and joy into your life, so you can take all that pressure off yourself and you can just enjoy life that little bit more. Yeah, because I think having the joy in your life puts things into perspective. Sometimes when we're working or we're overworking, we're just so focused on the work that we forget about the other aspects of life. And when you actually have that time away, then you can put the work into perspective. There are more aspects of life that we need to enjoy, and joy is one of those things. Also, if it's really difficult for you to let go of some of these limiting beliefs, then ask yourself the benefits of letting go of them, and remind yourself that this is the difference between an enjoyable life and a painfully rushed life. I just want to add here as well the importance of living in alignment with your values and how connected that is to your joy. So when we are burnt out, it's because we have too many commitments and too little joy. And lack of joy can really occur because we are living out of alignment with our values as a person. So for example, if we're someone who's really adventurous and that's a value of ours, and we enjoy freedom and that's a value, then what might happen is if you have a job or you have a work position which is very sort of tight and controlling, and you don't have much freedom, it's very repetitive, then you're going to be living out of sync with your values, which means you're going to have less joy in your life, which means that you're going to burn out much quicker. So what you want to do is, for example, if you enjoy, creativity and that's your value, then in the evenings do something creative. If you enjoy nature, then during the day go for a walk, and then you're living more in alignment with your values, which means you'll have more joy and you'll feel a lot more happier in your life and in your life situation. You'll have more joy, and then you'll have less burnout. So we want to know, what brings you joy? Put it in the comments below and help others be inspired. So the fourth tip is to find the root cause of your burnout. So the final and arguably most important tip is to get to the root cause of why your burnout has occurred. And if you do this, not only will you have peace with your situation and with yourself, because you are understanding why you're experiencing this burnout now, so you'll have self-compassion about your situation, but you'll also be able to prevent burnout happening again in the future. Whilst it's really important to prioritize yourself and have good boundaries to stop the chances of you having that burnout, identifying the main reason why your burnout has occurred in the first place is the only way you're going to be able to stop burnout for good. So this requires you to go a little bit deeper with yourself. So for some people, their worth is tied up in their work, and they use their work to try and prove themselves or prove that they're good enough. And for others, it may be that they use work as an escape to some sort of psychological or emotional issues that haven't been resolved. A lot of the time, beliefs created in childhood create certain needs and desires that cause people to burn out in the pursuit of having these needs and desires met. So a lot of the time it relates to our childhood, and this is why we recommend shadow work, which involves healing the inner child, getting to the root cause of what our needs and desires are and what our beliefs are, so that we can heal any wounds or unresolved issues driving your behavior that causes the burnout. So to do shadow work, you want to get still, get in a quiet space, meditate if that works for you, and ask yourself questions. You can ask yourself these questions to get you to the root cause of your burnout. So what are the beliefs I grew up with about working hard? As a child, what did my accomplishments mean to me and those around me? How do I feel about the relationship between my work and my worth? Do I feel the need to be successful in order to prove something or feel worthy? Is there something I'm afraid of? So when you do the self-reflection work, you'll really be able to unravel, explore your thoughts, and get to understanding what has led you here. And that is the key to stopping your burnout for good, because you can start to eliminate that. And also through this process, you'll be able to apply the other principles more easily, the other tips we've given you more easily, because through the process of shadow work and healing our wounds, we start to have more self-compassion and love for ourselves. We start to feel complete as we are now, so we stop putting the pressure on ourselves. We stop talking to ourselves negatively to make us keep on working, and we start to have better boundaries because we have more self-worth, so that we can really eliminate that burnout. Also, the meditation that you do and the slowing down that you do creates more of a habit of awareness and presence, which again will help you to slow down and have more self-compassion and more awareness, and then you can implement all these strategies much more effectively and much more easily. So if you are someone who keeps on experiencing burnout and you do want to go one step further, we do have a free masterclass called Burnout to Balance. And in here, we also go through in more depth what shadow work is all about and how to do shadow work. So that will help you get to the root cause of what is causing your burnout. And with that also comes a free workbook, which gives you 5 tips to balance and some journaling prompts, so you can really do that self-reflection work. So check out the link below in the description box. Also, be sure to check out our previous video on tips to manage stress, because this may also be helpful to you and will also be linked in the description below. That's it for today, guys. If you like the video, please like, share, subscribe and comment. And until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.